That's weird. That's weird. Kind of weirding me out.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Isn't that weird?
That's weird, man.
It's strange.
What's up, campers? Welcome back to episode 85 of Camp Strange. I am your camp counselor, Alex Tobin.
And I'm your other camp counselor, David Stokes.
And we're back to bring the spooky, wacky, weird, strange, and royal? And before we get into these longer stories that we have for you today, we like to catch you up on any of the news you might have missed. But you're probably watching all the news, so we're going to tell you about the news that you probably want to see, but they're not covering. And for this little instance, David brought all the news to the table. I didn't have any news, and he has many news.
I'm just a news fiend right now. That's all I'm doing all day. I'm looking at the news. I'm seeing what's going on. I can't get enough of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I feel you. I mean, I'm actually doing the exact opposite because most of the news sucks. But if you found the good news, the good, bad, weird news, whatever you want to call it, then I want to hear it.
I'm no John Krasinski with his whole YouTube channel he's got going on right now.
I did see that.
It was good.
Did you watch it? I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I watched. I mean, it's definitely like very like emotional and heartfelt in a way. Like you might tear up a little bit here and there, but yeah, no, it's good.
I saw you had Steve Carell on there, and I was like, "Ooh, I really want to watch it now," but I just didn't. Is it on his Instagram or whatever?
I'm sure it's on his Instagram, but I know he it's like a YouTube channel he's doing now. Like I think he already did like a second episode.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, well, faux John Krasinski, tell us about some good news or bad news, whatever you want to tell us. Tell us some news.
All right, so my first story here is Fox Sports announcer Joe Buck pleads guilty, or he doesn't plead guilty. He pleads.
This might be like libel or slander at this point.
Yeah. Joe Buck pleads public to stop sending him sex tapes to call play-by-play.
Okay,
hold on. But for the people who are not sports fans or haven't paid close attention, Joe Buck, he does huge games. He does like the World Series, Super Bowls, stuff like that. And he has the most boring voice. Like, the most amazing play will happen, and he could be basically half asleep. He's awful. People don't like Joe Buck.
I dislike Joe Buck.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, I feel. Did you ever see that video of that guy throwing pizza on him?
No.
And he goes, "Are you kidding me? You've never seen that?" He's holding like an open box of pizza, and somebody like walks by and like hits the pizza on him, and it like goes on his face and jacket. He's like, "Are you kidding me?" And like throws the microphone on the ground.
Oh, I gotta watch that because I hate Joe Buck.
Amazing. But I mean, did you say a play-by-play on sex tapes?
Yeah, they want him to do a call a play-by-play on their sex tapes.
I mean, I guess these are good problems to have. People are sending you. I mean,
that's work. That's work.
Let's
right now. I mean, he's doing sports stuff. There's no sports right now. That's work for him, and he should be grateful to be given that opportunity, in my opinion.
Well, I just don't want to jump the gun. We have to know what these people look like too. You know what I mean? Because there's some sex tapes that you might like want to see, and then some you're just like, "Why? This is terrorism. Why did you send this to my doorstep?"
I mean, in my opinion, the worse the better. If Joe Buck's doing a play-by-play on it,
I guess, yeah. For our purposes, that's fun. But when he has to see, we can look away. He has to see the minutia of it all. You know, he's a play-by-play announcer. He's got to know their stance. He's got to know. I'm gonna stop there.
He's got a lot of education, you know, to go about here. He's got a lot to learn. But you know, I want to know if someone can sound so boring from like a grand slam in the World Series, then I want to see what his tone of voice would be like watching the most disgusting sex tape you've ever seen.
He's probably excited.
It's a whole new Buck in the game.
Very excited. Wow. Well, that's cool. He's keeping his hands full, no pun intended.
Yeah. So my next story is Marvel, as in, you know, the famous comic book company. Marvel receives backlash after naming first non-binary characters Snowflake and Safe Space.
Oh, they got backlash for that?
Why wouldn't they?
I mean, because I watched somebody posted that online, and I was like, oh, this is like a joke. There's no way. And then somebody's like, no, these are their actual things. They put a YouTube video up to explain like the release. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a notoriety thing where they're trying to get like, hey, check out these new heroes. And I watched the guy, and the guy was like wholeheartedly explaining the characters that he created in like a non-ironic way, and he was like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to use these pejorative connotations that millennials are called and like give a spin on them and like and empower them. And I was like, they don't look very good.
Yeah, like I can understand that point of view, but it no. I don't
The
think
only
so.
the only kind of good one is like this vampire girl, and her name's Negative B, I think.
Okay.
And she's very negative and angsty, but she's also a vampire. But like, I know it doesn't sound very cool, but if you like see the other characters, like two of them,
she's shining because they're all
yeah,
so shitty.
she's looking like Joe Buck. She's killing it right now.
Yeah. I hope their main villain is called like the Boomer, and it's just an angry
Ooh.
dad.
Ooh, I wonder if that'll get him points though. You know what I mean? Because like, who's mad at him right now? Is it like millennials who are mad, or is it like the older generations that are mad, Gen Y?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Everybody's mad about something these days.
That's true. You have to just have to keep the original superheroes and just keep killing them off and bringing them back, and then everybody will be happy. You know, you can't make anybody new or they freak out.
Yeah.
But hey, well, kudos to that guy for trying. You know.
So my next story is for everybody who has not watched, it's Tiger King, right?
Tiger King, yeah.
Because I can't remember if it's Tiger King or King of Tigers, but the Netflix series documentary about Joe Exotic and all of the other people who have like these backyard zoos. So our boy O.J. Simpson.
Oh, what?
Is he's convinced
he's mad. He's mad right now.
He's convinced Carol Baskins killed her husband.
Wait. This guy, I feel like OJ just really wants to get back in the news. Like, he knows, he's almost like taunting us at this point. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, how, was it recently when he did the interview when he said like did he make a book? He made a book that was like, he's like I didn't kill her, but if I did.
The book was called If I Did It, I believe. And he wrote like a memoir, like, if, like, you know, I don't know what was in the book. It might have just been like an autobiography, and then that was just like a catchy title. But basically, they pulled it from the shelves because they pulled it before it got released because they're like, this is the worst PR nightmare I've ever heard of. Yeah. And then just recently, when all the quarantine was happening, he said like, if I can't play golf, I'm gonna go crazy. And someone was like, how crazy? Oh, I think it was like Ethan from H3H3. He's like, how crazy we talking here, bud, or something like that.
Well, no. His tweet was, he said something that was like, at the time, it's definitely not now because things have changed. It's aged like milk. But his tweet back to him was like, I statistically have a better chance being killed by you than the coronavirus.
Oh, that's what it was. You're right. You're totally right. Oh my God. Yeah, that did age like milk. Yeah. Not fun. But no. Jesus Christ. So, OJ, I mean, I feel like everybody's watched this documentary, right?
I mean, God, they couldn't have picked a better time to release that shit.
Honestly. I mean, and it's a really, really good documentary, too. But like,
and we were talking about it before we started recording and how it's a story that's like perfect for our podcast. But at the same time, it's like they did such a good job with that. With the series, it's like we wouldn't have been able to do it justice compared to what they did. So I'm glad we didn't like ruin any of it, because if you haven't watched it, watch it. The first episode's a little rough for sure if you're like a big animal fan, because there's definitely a lot of animal abuse involved in it. But if you can stomach like some of the terrible things going on, like it is the most insane shit you will ever witness.
Well, the most interesting thing about it is, like, they were there filming it before half of the shit happened, it looked like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they had all this really good footage. It seems like they've been doing it for, like, the past, like, 7 years they've been filming this documentary. But it seems like just more stuff kept unfolding. And the director of the documentary is probably like, holy shit, like, this is supposed to be like a movie. Now it's a 7-part series. Like, Jesus Christ, you know?
Yeah.
It's absolutely bananas.
It's just perfect timing for when everybody has basically nothing to do but watch Netflix.
Yeah, true. But yeah, that's a great doc. Go check that out if you guys haven't, but you probably have.
It's just absolutely insane if you haven't watched it. So my next and last news story is...
do you think we could get OJ to kill Carol Baskins? Will he do it for... Will he do it, you think?
I don't think he would hesitate.
But he's going to need at least a couple more $1,000 or his signed football back.
He's going to need one of those new electric Broncos. It's got to be white, though. It's got to be white.
Anyway, next story. Enough murder.
So this is my last and final story here. Tobin, you're aware of what OnlyFans is, correct?
Yeah. As of recently, actually, there's been like quite a bit of news about it. It is like, it's a subscription website for I don't know if it's just for cam girls, but it's just for like people selling like pictures of themselves or videos of themselves, more likely doing sexual things, right?
Correct. It's kind of like, oh, hey, there's that girl I grew up with. Oh, she's selling nudes. I might sign up, kind of thing.
Yeah, where it's like throw $10 and you get pictures, even though the internet's full of pictures, and you guys could just it's free. I already paid an internet bill. I'm not gonna pay more for that.
Just like news, it should all be free.
free porn, free news. That's where I stand on that.
So OnlyFans mom posts late daughter's nudes to keep her memory alive.
Wait, what? Wait.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait. So the daughter was a cam girl of some sort, and she recently passed away, or?
So, as usual, and especially because I have to turn the Wi-Fi off my computer so we could do the face chat. Well, my internet's turned off, so I can't really click into the article. But what it seems like is that the girl had an OnlyFans account, and the mom took it over and started posting the B-sides, the backlogs of her nudes, and she's justifying it as keeping her memory alive, not just making, money.
Oh no, that's so bad.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say that the mom hijacked the account and started posting pictures of herself.
No.
Which would have been super cool.
Yeah. And this is like, so if I can't give you any more information from the article itself, I'm going to read the top 3 comments on this, which I find are great. The first one by the account is called it's either Is Touche or I Stushy. I think it's Is Touche. They just said fuck. That's it. That was the top comment. The second one by Post 37 days later was more like keep her bank account alive. Yuck. And then my favorite, basically. my favorite in third place from Maggie Kill 1 was yeehaw.
I mean, that's just like, I don't know. I guess we all have different ways of coping, but Jesus Christ, that's like a little much. I mean, it's not like shameful, I guess, but it's just, it doesn't seem very respectful to me, but who knows?
No.
I'm not either of them. I don't know what, people's personalities are like, but yeah, not my cup of tea.
It ain't pretty.
No. Well, okay. Well, I think we caught up on all those news stories that we have for you today. But before we get into these longer stories, I have to remind you to stay stocked up on your coffee. Your toilet paper might be out. But you know what? You got to keep them beans stocked up. That's why you're going to go to Spring Hill Jack and go check them out because they have the beans, they have the goods, and they're still delivering, I believe, and they're still delving out good quality products. So why not go check them out? SpringHillJack.coffee. They have great prices, and their coffee. You know what's crazy? Recently, I went to Starbucks. I've stopped going to Starbucks after all this. But
how recently? How recently?
Like 3 days ago, I think.
You son of a bitch.
Well, you can't go inside, so you just order from the mobile app and then you pick it up. I know it's not like a great thing to do, but like I was like, I need coffee. I need my coffee. And I was like, and I drank it and I was like, oh, this tastes like shit. Because I've been in the house drinking Spring Hill Jack. I've had like enough time in the morning to make my coffee and everything. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I was drinking this. It just like kind of tastes watered down compared to like the Spring Hill Jack I've been having. So, yeah, and also no Corona in that Spring Hill. You know, we got it. I don't know what's in that Starbucks that I shouldn't say that legally, right?
Yeah, probably
legally. Not. I redact everything I just said. Just go check out SpringHillJack.coffee. But yeah, okay, let's get into it. Now, David, have you ever tried to start a fashion trend that just didn't seem to stick? You know, like underwear on the outside or those stupid Kanye glasses that look like you were looking through Venetian blinds?
Well, okay, I got a good story for you on that topic. And I think it was probably about third grade. My buddy and I thought it would be a really fun idea to wear Santa hats year round.
You're those guys.
So yeah, we had a GameCube. We were those guys. We we wore Santa hats.
We had a GameCube.
For
some weird reason,
GameCube.
For some weird reason, that totally like justified why you did that, though. In a weird way, I get it. I had a GameCube too.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, no, that was our I mean,
it didn't stick.
It did to us. God damn.
How long did you wear those hats for, though?
Oh God, I don't remember. I mentioned it before.
Long enough.
I don't remember anything.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of fashion trends, these two Brazilian boys were ahead of their time for many reasons, but today I will be telling you about their most notable fashion trend that just didn't seem to stick. That's right, I'm talking about the case of the lead masks. So, you might be wondering, a lead mask? That doesn't seem safe. No, it doesn't at all. But we're going to get into that because there's a lot more than just a fashion trend that's going on here. So, on the afternoon of August 20th, 1966, a young boy was flying a kite on Vintum Hill in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, when he came upon the bodies of two deceased males. You see, that's what happens when you try to go outside and have old-fashioned fun. You know, when you stop
in Brazil.
When you stop playing the video games, you find bodies in a field. That's what happens. So, well, instead of poking them with a stick, he decided to tell the authorities of his findings. Once the police were notified, though, it would take them until the next day to go check out the crime scene due to the rough terrain leading to where the bodies were located, which is also a very weird thing to be like, we'll get those bodies tomorrow. Can you just like make sure that no one gets up and steals them in the middle of the night? Like, I don't know, like, how can you just be like, we'll get them tomorrow? It's pretty rocky up there.
Yeah, just leave them there.
I have my Skechers. They're not good for rocks. They don't get good grip.
But God, are they breathable?
So, once the police officer arrived at the scene, they soon found out that these were not the usual dead bodies they were used to discovering. They were much more bizarre. The two men were found covered in the hill's tall grass, stretched out side by side with a water bottle and two wet towels beside them. When the officers inspected further, they realized that the dead men were dressed in matching formal suits and covered by matching waterproof raincoats. But it was their last piece of uniform that created a mystery around the bodies, since their heads were both covered in matching lead masks. So, what do you think when I say lead mask? Because when I started the story, it changed like halfway through, and I went, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Oh, boy. I mean, obviously, I'd think masks made of lead.
Well, yeah, okay, I guess that was a kind of a bad leading question, but I was kind of thinking of like a Iron Man type helmet. You know what I mean? But once I did some more digging, I found out that the masks were more similar to sleep masks or like sunglasses.
So they didn't cover the whole head?
No, they only covered their eyes. So it was like a
Wow.
mask in the sense that it was like just over their eyes. Kind of looked like those fatty pairs of sunglasses in the 90s that were like baseball players wore them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like pretty big, and they're like one continuous piece of like lens, but like it got like tinier around the bridge of the nose and then connected. So that's what they
Okay.
kind of look like, which was kind of interesting. I was like, oh shit. But the real question was, why were they wearing such a thing? Some of the police officers originally believed that they were protection masks for radiation exposure, but protective masks typically cover the whole head, like we said, and they usually came with goggles or enclosed tight slits. So they would have been much more, protective in a way. But these homemade masks were more like lead blindfolds that completely covered the eyes but left the rest of the face exposed. And while wearing them, it would have been impossible for the men to see anything, which, again, like a mask, like a sleep mask, you can't see through them. So it was a little bit,
Yeah.
So the masks left a big question mark, but the police knew that with a little more information about the two victims, maybe the masks could be explained. So they dug some more. And the two men were soon identified as Manuel Pereira de Cruz
Yeah. That
and,
sounds right.
and Miguel Jose Viana, two electronic technicians from a small town just a few kilometers away. Once they discovered the identities of the two men, they reconstructed their final days leading up to the incident, and this is what they discovered. On August 17th, Cruz and Viana left their town with the stated intent that they needed to purchase some materials for work. The two men then boarded a bus to Rio de Janeiro and arrived at 2:30 p.m. Evidence shows that the waterproof coats were purchased at a stop there and one bottle of water from a local bar. Upon being interviewed, the waitress from the bar described Miguel as very nervous and noticed he frequently checked his watch. That is the last time they were known to have been seen alive. And it is presumed that they went directly from the bar to the spot at which they were discovered in the field with the tall grass.
So, who goes into a bar to buy a bottle of water?
I was thinking the same thing, but it's 1966. I don't think they had
Maybe that was a way of for them to go in and be seen before what happened,
Yeah, it's very, a couple of things went through my head. I'm like, oh, are those plastic bottles of water? Are they glass bottles? I'm guessing they're glass. I'm surprised, a bar would sell a glass bottle of water. And I was like, do they even have,
Well, that
gas
just means
station quickie marts
because
in
this
1966?
is Brazil.
Yeah,
This is
true.
So I don't know much about Brazil, but when I go to foreign countries that don't have safe drinking water, that means bottled water is very common.
Yeah, you got to be careful with, Giardia and all those other viruses in the water that could give you dysentery or diarrhea or whatever. So, yeah.
So maybe that was a more common thing in Brazil at the time, was to get bottled water. So that makes a little more sense,
sure.
I think.
So this is the most interesting part of the whole story, I think. So one more thing the authorities found alongside their bodies was a notebook. The notebook contained lists of parts and other information related to their occupation as electronic technicians. One page, however, contained cryptic instructions that seemed to relate to their mysterious deaths. And this is what it said. 1630, be at the specific location. 1830, ingest capsules after the effect, protect metals, await signal mask. I'll read that again just so you can kind of figure that out. 1630, be at the specific location. 1830, ingest capsules after the effect, protect metals, await signal mask. And I don't know if I looked on a couple different websites and none of them had the commas in there. So I'm trying to figure out what that whole sentence means. But
I can make sense of it. You got to be at a certain place at a certain time, and then at one point you have to ingest, what was it, pills?
Ingest capsules, and this is
Capsules.
after the effect, protect metals, await signal mask.
So protect metals.
I know, that's what I'm like. I mean, obviously there's something going on there where you're like, what the fuck? Like, what are the capsules? You know what I mean? There's a lot of questions
They
in that.
ingested them.
They're in their bodies. So,
Yeah.
I mean, well, we'll get into it right now. So, no obvious injuries were discovered on the men at the scene, nor later at the autopsy. But unfortunately, a search for toxic substances did not occur, which is like the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard. Here's their excuse. It says the coroner's office was very busy at the time, and when the autopsy was finally conducted, the internal organs of the two victims were too badly decomposed for reliable testing.
Huh.
I do believe that the coroner's office was very busy,
Yeah.
but
it is Brazil.
I've heard some things. But I just think it's bullshit if, like, two people die in a field with a notebook that says ingest capsule and you don't do a toxicology report on them. You're kind of fucking up. But it's also, like, 1966, so, like, I don't know how great the toxicology reports were. So it might have been a guy
That's
just, like,
fair.
dipping a little ladle in there and being like, oh, yeah, arsenic for sure. It was arsenic.
Yeah,
So-
it tastes just like it.
And he ate some chicken soup and a bottle of water from a bar. How do you know it was from a bar, Clint? I could just tell these things. So, there are multiple theories that have
I don't
been...
think there's a lot of people named Clint in Brazil, but
Everybody's named Clint down there. You didn't know that.
down
You don't know
there,
anything. What? Is Brazil not south of us, you asshole?
I'm thinking. It counts on. I mean, the Earth is flat, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess you're right. So, there are multiple theories that have been proposed to explain this case, ranging from foul play to UFOs.
Whoa!
So, was that ever on your mind in this whole story?
It's never not on my mind.
That's true. I guess you're right. So, one theory revolves around the testimony of a friend of the two men who claimed that they were members of a group of scientific spiritualists who believed that they could contact extraterrestrial life with the right means. So, scientific spiritualist, I wasn't really able to find what a scientific spiritualist was, but a spiritualist is somebody who obviously believes that they can make contact with spirits and ghosts and, out of this world, different plane
All
creatures.
of the above.
I guess, yeah. But scientific spiritualist make it seem like it's more of like a space distance between planets type thing. You know, like there's stuff out there that can be explained with science. There's obviously different planets. We believe that we can contact people, on a scientific level through, on different planets or whatever. It's kind of hard to pinpoint what the hell they're really trying to get at. But after searching the homes of the two men, they found the tools necessary to make their homemade lead masks. So they did make their masks at home, which just goes to show you, they are creative.
They're very crafty. They're very good with their hands.
They
They go
probably-
to Hobby Lobby a lot.
They probably had some Santa hats in their closet that those weren't really working out. They had to switch to the lead
Yeah.
masks.
Yeah.
And they also found a book that contained highlighted passages about the intense luminosity, quote unquote, intense luminosity of the entities they hoped to reach. Such expectations of bright light might explain the need for their lead eye coverings. So basically, they believed that their aliens were going to come down on that hill and then their light was going to be so bright that it was going to blind them, so they needed to protect their eyes. So it kind of does end up making sense in a weird way.
Yeah, that's fair. It makes
yeah.
sense.
So like I just always kind of assumed that this was one of those cases where it was like a Tom and Shude case, which we will cover on another episode. But if you know about that, then that was a case that was like never solved. There's still a lot of questions and there's just like very little evidence. But with this case, it kind of seems like once they checked their house and once they talked to the friends, like, oh, these guys were a little bit more out there. This looks like
Okay.
it's self-inflicted and probably not foul play. But
Yeah.
Other sources said that the spiritualist community would ingest psychedelic drugs to aid in their communication attempts. This led many to conclude that the two men who died on Vinton Hill perished from accidental drug overdoses.
Okay. That checks out.
But we can't know what psychedelic drugs they were taking because they never did a toxicology because all the organs were too deteriorated at that point.
They were too mashed up.
So it's like
just mashing them.
It's like you went at it with a Cuisinart. What are you doing? But what's popping in 1966 Rio de Janeiro as far as capsules go?
Probably acid.
You think?
Yeah.
Did acid come in capsules? I thought it came on like little pieces of paper.
Yeah, acid comes in fucking anything.
Tinctures. I guess you're right. I mean, we'll never know, but it's just fun to. Maybe it was a multivite, and
Yo, what if we did solve it? What if we just solved it right now? What if we knew? That's what this podcast needs. We need to solve a crime, and then we'll be big time. Big time.
Big time. So, adding fuel to the fire of speculation, local newspapers ran stories a few days after the bodies were found in which a resident claimed to have seen round orange UFO hovering over the hill on the same night that the men had been there. So that's another thing where it's like, is that adding fuel to the fire? Is that the government trying to be like, oh, this guy's lying. Oh, they weren't able to contact anybody. But I mean, I think they're just like ahead of their time. And they're like, we got to steal those lead masks because those are going to be popping off on Gleek Glorp. And we want to be ahead of the trend,
Yeah, absolutely. Being ahead of the trend that's the first key to success. No one's going to know who you are. If you're 10 days behind the trend, you gotta be breaking down those walls and starting those trends.
Underwear on the outside of the pants. Doug Funny did it.
Yeah.
So, let's wrap this up by saying, in conclusion, whatever these men died from, whether it be a psychedelic drug overdose, an alien encounter, or maybe just having their lead masks a little too tight, I hope that they now found peace in the outer realms of space, floating amongst all the other UFOs, sporting their trademark lead shades, and vibing on their ayahuasca.
Beautiful.
I mean, that's all you could really hope for in the end. I mean, there's a lot of ways to go, and I say ayahuasca riddled on a hill with lead masks on and a raincoat. In nice suits, too, with your buddy.
Nice yeah.
Ain't a bad way to go, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot worse ways to go, so hey.
Dress to the best for your last day on Earth. Why not?
Exactly. So, that's my story of the lead masks. So, David, What do you have for me, though?
Now, Tobin, we have discussed in the past the likelihood of Queen Elizabeth being a cannibal or simply just a lizard person who consumes the flesh of humans, thanks to our beloved coward.
I mean, this is not a discussion. This is an arguable fact.
Yes. So, but there's a factor of the story we haven't jumped into yet, and that is Prince Phillip, Duke of Edinburgh.
See, that is interesting because you hinted that she had a man friend or a husband of some sort, and
what do you mean I hinted? That's a fact.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's the thing.
You didn't know Queen Elizabeth had a husband?
No, I did not at all.
Jesus Christ, they've been married since 1947.
Oh my God, I have never seen him. What is he, under his fucking heat lamp all day and he never comes out? I've never seen him.
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
So now it can be that not only the Queen has lived to be 93 years old, but Prince Philip, being 5 years older than her, soon to be hitting the age of 99 in early June this year. Is it possible that they're both lizard people? They both are immortal?
I mean, takes one to know one, right?
Now, you could go as far to assume, hey, they're some of the most powerful people in the world, and with power comes resources of health and support. And, how dangerous could it be for them living their lives protected from any harm? Well, this could be the case for the Queen, but there are a few examples of Prince Philip, which I feel like it's weird that she's the Queen and he's still a prince.
Oh, he's a prince?
Yeah,
I
don't know.
Sounds a little creepy to me with just the titles alone. I know he's older,
Yeah.
but I'm just getting creeped out.
It's because I think the way it works is she was a princess and then her parents died, which made her the queen, but he was a prince from his own place, then came and married her, so I don't think that automatically made him a king. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I mean, he might have been like a younger brother or something like that. I don't really know how it
Exactly.
works either,
But here are a few examples of Prince Philip dodging death. Or maybe it's death who is dodging Philip.
Oh.
So, December 2011. Back in 2011, Prince Philip might not have been in severe danger, but according to some news outlets and word of mouth, Philip's life ended at the age of 90, leading to leading to as far as his Wikipedia page being changed to confirming his death.
Oh, so
And,
we're dealing with like an Avril Lavigne type here, huh?
Oh yeah, Jackie Chan. Who else? Who else is always getting they're dead?
Nick Cage doesn't. No, he just immortal, or is that Keanu?
Yeah, I think they're both a little immortal.
Yeah, there's a couple other ones that definitely have Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
He's one of them
What's the
fake.
Rolling Stones guy?
Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger. Yeah.
No, he looks about the right age of 110.
Yeah, he looks great. So, and you know what? As far as I'm concerned, maybe he did die that day, and his spirit, life form, lizard body, whatever it could be, changed bodies and became the new Philip. So this takes us to April 2017. Stirs at the Buckingham Palace started to show itself as members of the royal family and all of their employees were running around and panicking as if a member of the family had died.
Oh no!
And was maybe sent to the majestic resting place for lizard people. But much to the surprise, this was all the chaos was made to announce that Philip would be retiring from public life.
What the fuck does that mean?
So that means that he wouldn't make
Public
any
life?
more. That means he wouldn't make more appearances as himself.
Oh, interesting.
Like he wouldn't be going to the huge ceremonies. He wouldn't be doing stuff like that.
What a weird thing you have to retire from. That's just like me.
Yeah.
That's like I bet a lot of people wish they can get out of social situations in that way. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm retiring from bar and club venue appearances. I would like to thank everybody in my time, but I am no longer going to be vomiting on anybody.
So this was a way of him hiding from doing public appearances. So clearly Philip was getting sloppy on his shape-shifting and human eating.
His face
so
was
it was best
falling
to
off.
keep him. Yeah, it was best to keep him behind doors so people didn't see him, exposing his lizard body.
His tail was probably getting longer, and the skin wasn't holding it back anymore. It's you start falling apart when you get that old, lizard-wise.
You just gotta hide it. So, April 2018, after his retirement from public life, about exactly a year by the month later, Philip's activity feed went dead for that whole year, and the public hadn't heard much from him until April 2018, when Philip was hospitalized to undergo what they call hip surgery.
Wait, do lizards have hips?
I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many gift cards to Zoomies you give a man in his late 90s. He will never fully achieve the status of hip, no matter how many, surgeries of hip you try to give him.
I know one hip surgery that would have saved him. You ever heard of lead masks?
So this surgery was taken to many as like a code for Philip is a goner. Like they're saying like, oh, like this is kind of like a cover up to what actually happened. Like,
Well,
they can
I'm
kill
kind
him
of
off.
curious on what his public activity feed, is that what you called it? His public activity feed went dead, or his activity feed went dead?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't know. I just made that up. I don't
does-
fucking know. I'm just trying
Okay.
to find a way to word it.
I thought everybody had like his Fitbit on their phone or something. Like, Philip only took 6 steps.
He got out of bed.
He has the resting
So-
heart rate of a tortoise.
Yeah, so people assumed that he was a goner, and they assumed it was more serious than what the palace was saying. However, Philip would survive and walk out wearing a Supreme shirt. Pretty hip.
Shut the
Pretty-
fuck up.
pretty-
Are you serious?
No.
Oh man.
It was all a ruse.
This is still like I want to hang on to that hope that one day in his coffin
Yeah.
they'll roll him out in a Supreme shirt, monster hat with the cigarella
Oh.
hanging out of his mouth.
Fuck yeah.
With the Kanye shades that have the slits through them.
Absolutely. So this takes us to May 2018. And this is when Philip decided to make a public appearance for a special occasion. Do you know what happened in May of 2018?
May 2018 was one of the kids born. One of the
This dude is in his like late 90s.
Not his kid. I meant like I forget all the royal family's names. Was a child born or was there a wedding? Oh, a wedding.
Yeah, it was the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
Although the day was intended to be about the royal wedding, most eyes were fixed on what looked to be the corpse of Philip attending the wedding.
No.
But at last, after 2 hours of watching Philip at the wedding, he did in fact blink, confirming that he was still kicking. Regardless on the fact of what he looked like. And as many put it, they said he looked like he was just dug up for the wedding.
Did
People are fucking ruthless.
did he blink sideways, like instead of
Yeah.
going up and down, and then he licked his eyeball, like his tongue went out and licked his eyeball?
Caught a flake of skin revealing some scales underneath. So we're going to take this all the way to July 2018. After his less than lively appearance at the wedding, many journalists once again assumed Phil had passed and the rumors started to fly again. Many people tuned into BBC News expecting for the historical announcement that Philip was in fact gone. But furious, Queen Elizabeth confirmed her husband to be still alive.
Oh, the audacity!
So now this, I know, right? Like, just come on.
Do you
so
think
now-
they still sleep in the same bed, or do you think he's just in an iron lung?
They're both hanging upside down by their tails.
More cockroach, please.
So this one's gonna, we jumped a year, and now we're in January of 2019. Now this one's a doozy, and if this isn't confirmed, this mad lad is certainly not human. I don't know what will. A 97-year-old Philip would be involved in a major car collision when he struck a Kia with his massive Land Rover.
Wait, he's
The
still
key-
driving?
Exactly. Why is he's 97? Why is he still driving?
I'm surprised any of them drive. Like, they have drivers. They're all so rich. Like, I don't know.
You just need that thrill. You need the thrill.
Yeah, I think he's like a naughty prince, and he's like, give me the wheel.
Oh, he's a very naughty prince. We'll get into that.
Oh, God, no.
So he struck a Kia with his massive Land Rover. The Kia was carrying a woman and her baby when Phil struck the car, and his Land Rover rolled multiple times until the vehicle stopped upside down. Now, I can only speculate. Phil saw that baby in the backseat of that car, and his lizard instincts kicked in as he tried to run the car off the road for a quick snack. But again, that's all speculation. I can't confirm or deny that. I'm just putting myself in his seat, behind the wheel. I see that little kid.
One can only assume.
The stomach starts growling. You just gotta,
Yeah,
you gotta hit him.
You gotta yeet that car over.
Yeah. So the mother and child survived with no life-threatening injuries, but the driver did have a broken arm. Hashtag big money.
I know. I was about to say, geez, that payout must have been nice. And
Yeah.
yeah, the lawsuit says that he will pay you for any injuries to the car and to your arm.
You're now the queen of this area.
And you also, there's a clause in here. That's weird. There's a clause in here that says that he will offer me $5 million for my child, for my juicy child. What does that mean?
my delicious, juicy child.
He
Just
wants
hand it over.
the meat.
So Philip was had to get pulled from his car by, I don't know. I wasn't sure if it was like an ambulance or his security or whatever, but he was pulled from his car that was upside down while screaming, "My legs! My legs!" Like he was a character from SpongeBob. But even though he screamed about it over and over again, he didn't have a scratch on his body and his legs were fine.
What the fuck?
Again,
That's a wicked Charlie horse.
Now, obviously, like I've stated, this is all speculation, but could it be that Philip is a much stronger lizard person than anybody gives him credit? I mean, he was 97, rolled a car, and came out unscathed.
It's pretty
What
good.
is that?
It's pretty good.
Could this just be the tip of the iceberg? For most part, many agree the reason Philip hides from the public is because he's kind of a huge asshole. He's someone who makes racist comments about just every race imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
Makes jokes about deaf people to their faces because he assumed they couldn't hear him.
Oh.
Is accused of having multiple affairs. Insults teenagers for being what he called fat, or another child for looking sickly. It's more likely that that's why he hides, is because, for the most part, people think he's a huge asshole. But at the end of the day, you show me a man in his late 90s who can survive rolling his car, and I'll show you a goddamn immortal lizard person.
I was about to say, I haven't met a lizard I liked yet. And guess what? Philip is not the exception as of yet.
It was a good PR move to hide him from the public.
Yeah.
Apparently, he made a lot of really bad comments. You can Google them yourself. There's some that I don't want to read on this podcast because those aren't the type of
vibes we're going for.
Yeah, but he said some very questionable things about a lot of races and ethnicities, and yeah.
It's weird because once you're like that old, you like almost like what, like we can't even ruin his life anymore. You know what I mean? Like
it's already in shambles.
Yeah,
you know?
it's well, I'm just saying like like if he says some like really off color shit, like even this like not even off color, just like straight up racist shit, you're just like I guess we try to like ruin his career, and he's like, I don't care. I literally sit in a rocking chair for 25 hours of the day. Like, there's nothing you can do to me, like that I literally can't do to myself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. The royal family's weird.
It's weird.
It's a strange idea to me that you run an entire country off of like a bloodline, not necessarily like the right person. And for God's sakes, you can only say that so far because it is very apparent that our country can't find any good candidates for the most part at many times. But it's just weird that it's like, oh, you're born into it, so you're gonna be the one that's gonna do it.
Well, it's also weird because I don't know much about Parliament or what goes on over in England, but I've heard that, the prime minister is the one who actually makes all the executive decisions, and that the queen and the royal family are basically just like a rich family that are there for like traditional purposes. You know what I mean? Like they're just kind of there to like be the epitome of like old English culture, I think, and like keeping values and traditions alive. But I don't believe that
makes sense.
Yeah, I don't believe that they actually have any power. Like they just kind of show up to ceremonious events, and they're kind of like I don't want to say the Kardashians because that fucking makes me sick. But you know what I mean? Where like there's like a very wealthy family that a lot of people know of that people just, are wondering what's going on in their life at all times, but they don't have any real power. They just have a lot of money. I mean, money gives you power, but
Hold on real quick. Speaking of the Kardashians, this was a news story I passed on, which I wasn't going to talk about, but you did bring them up. Apparently, Kim and Kanye are working on getting Joe Exotic out of prison.
Dude, Cardi B said the same thing. Okay.
Well, who gives a
Nobody
shit about
in
Cardi
that.
B?
No, I know. I'm just saying those are very dumb comments. Like, he did technically try to kill somebody. Like, in that.
Well, let's not do any spoilers here. But
okay. I mean, that's like the opening line of the documentary. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no spoilers. But Jesus Christ, like. I thought it was just like more of like a fun thing, and I hope that it's just kind of like a fun thing. But Kim Kardashian's all about prison reform, so I could definitely see her being like, I need to get him out. I mean, she'll get a bunch of kudos points if she does because he's such a personality. But at the same time,
I just have to say, I just want to bring up one small fact: could you imagine if Joe Exotic got out and just fired up that Instagram account? How good would that be?
Oh my God! Did you see that?
I'd kill for a Joe Exotic Instagram.
I went to the subreddit Age Like Milk that I know we kind of mentioned that today. It's posts that seemed good at the time, and then it's like the OJ thing, But he posted something that said like they get better. Like this is sick. They get better food and. Okay, never mind. I'm in spoiler territory right now, and I'm gonna back out real quick.
Yeah, back on out.
Backing on out. Okay, I think that just watch the documentary and then try to find Age Like Milk Reddit. You probably find it on there. But that concludes our stories and episode for today. So if you guys want any more information, go to Camp Strange. Oh, I forgot the website, campstrange.com. Or, go to our Instagram at Camp Strange Podcast and add us. And we have Twitter and Facebook, too, which we never use. And we have a store as well. And, of course, we would love if you would rate, review, and subscribe to us because that is our lifeblood. We don't have little children to crash into cars. We need all those reviews to keep us alive. So
yes, we do.
Do that if you can. And if you want to send us anything, send it to campstrangepodcast@gmail.com. And we will gladly read it and respond if we can. David, what else do we have, though, in the store besides shirts and mugs for these nice folks?
I've got a big old stick with a couple nails and some screws in it. And you can do whatever you want with it. I'm not going to judge.
Oh, okay. We got ourselves a record of John Whitmore singing the classics. He's not a person. I made him up.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know who that is.
No one does. Oh, you know what? He might be a person. And I hope if he is,
sure.
He's saying the classics.
What if it was one of our fans? Wouldn't that be cool?
He's like, oh my God, that's me. And then he just starts
He's like, wait,
singing
they
the
recorded me?
the classics. Yeah. I love the classics.
I got that one big old chain that was a cross that Vin Diesel wore in Fast and the Furious 3.
We got a cop with a pee-filled water balloon, and you just broke the law. And he's all out of bullets. But he's got that balloon.
He got this big old bug. He doesn't do much, but he'll open a beer for you.
A bug?
Yeah, he's just a brug.
He's branch.
You gotta at least put him on a branch.
We have
that brug.
We have a tiny Sicilian man that'll make you breakfast in the morning.
Yo, where's Chi-Chi at?
Chi-Chi. He's been making me breakfast. I didn't want to. Okay, he retired from all this civilian life, all this, So
yeah, it's probably safe. He should go back to his planet. He's got to get out of here. He got to leave before he brings the COVID back to his planet. That little body will just get eaten up.
Okay, I think that's it. We need to stop this to protect Chi-Chi. He has a gun pointed at me right now, and I need to stop this podcast and get him under control.
I said he was gone.
No. He's cooking me breakfast. I just told you that.
It's almost 6 p.m.
I like breakfast for dinner. He's really pouring milk and cereal into a bowl. He's not great.
It's a 12-hour cook.
Okay, we're done. I don't know what to say anymore. Okay, well, thank you guys for tuning in and listening to these stories. We love telling you them, and we hope you love listening. So, David, do you have anything to say before we leave?
Make sure you sneeze or cough into your elbow or something better.
Or don't sneeze and cough at all. And don't forget to stay strange.